He's been in the full team drills for the past 3 days in a row. Doesn't seem to be having any issues. He's moving fine. And now, so the question becomes not can he play in Friday's preseason game because he is apparently healthy enough to do it. The question is, will he play in Friday's preseason game? And I still don't know for sure whether he's going to or not.
Yeah, of course, when asked about it today, he said he wants to, but what's a player going to say? Is someone going to say, nah, I'm going to sit this one out, dog. I don't want to.
This is what Dennis Allen had to say when we asked him.
I'm not telling anybody who's playing and who's not playing, but yeah, look, I think the last couple of days he's looked pretty good out here, which has been really encouraging.
So the answer is, I'm not going to tell you. Nah.
Exactly. I know, and you don't.
Right. He's not going to tell us. So fine. I'd rather someone tell you they're not going to tell you than like lie to you. So I guess that's preferable. But we don't know the answer.
It's hard to. You can argue honestly either way. I think too, because one, you are worried about your number one guy possibly suffering either a setback or an injury, but then again, why wouldn't you want to get him out there for a series? I'm not saying it's going to really even make that big of a difference come week one, but just to quote unquote knock some of that rust off and get in a real game situation.
I just don't see why you wouldn't just say yes or no. Like I get if you want to play coy in the regular season and you want to be like, oh, we're going to make him have to wonder until late in the week. This is preseason. Just tell us. It's not going to hurt anybody. Jameis
the Chargers aren't game planning for a quarterback right now.
Right. No one's game planning for anything. They're just going out there and trying not to get hurt. Just tell us who's going to be there. Let's make our jobs easier. But I think he's just kind of setting the precedent for later in the season when we ask him these similar questions, we should expect the same answers. I think that's kind of what he's trying to do with that type of answer. But one thing I've been saying pretty consistently and I've been confident about is, Jameis, if you ask him at any point, he will say, I want to play. Like it's never, I don't really need to play. He's going to be like, I will play every snap of that preseason game if you let me. And sometimes you just have to protect him from himself. But in case you're wondering whether that was just me making that up, here's what he said today.
Jameis, do you need to play Friday?
I would love to. I would love to play. Just in terms of like to get out there with the bullets are really flying and get out there and compete with the guys. I love the pregame experience just to get a chance to look in everybody's eyes, dap people up, and really get that whole holistic team bonding part in the beginning of the game. That's one of my favorite parts of football. Is just that. It's that pre-battle moment. So I would love to experience that before we really kick things off.
Yeah, so there you have it. He wants to play. He wants to be out there. He's not even talking about like, oh, I want some reps to get execution down. I want to get hit to kind of get that comfortability. He's saying, I want to be in the pregame huddle. That's my favorite part. And
you got to watch out about saying the bullets flying when you're in New Orleans.
Okay. Let's keep this about football, Steve.
Hey-o.
Kyle Brister over here saying if DA isn't saying Jameis is playing, then Jameis isn't playing. I don't think that's true. I think Jameis is going to play. That's kind of what we're getting into. I think that if Jameis is healthy and Jameis wants to go, which he does, then they're going to have a hard time saying, no, Jameis, you can't even get a series. We don't trust your own health. Quarterbacks, if he's a running back, like Alvin Kamara, I don't think you should send out there. Demario Davis, I don't think you should send out there. But a quarterback isn't taking huge hits. It's more about just getting the feel of it. And I think he's going to be out there for the most minimal amount of snaps that you can justifiably have him out there. Because he wants it, and I think he's healthy, and I think it's going to do good for the team to see their quarterback kind of in the game. That's how I feel about it. But I think this is Dennis saying, I'm going to flash this comment back up. So if DA isn't saying Jameis is playing, then Jameis isn't playing. I disagree with that because previously he had told us he was not playing, right? In previous instances, he would have been like, yeah, he's not out there. Today, He played coy. And so to me, that actually indicates that he is a lot closer to playing, because if he wasn't, then he has a track record of just saying, yeah, he's not going to be out there. So I think this is actually backwards.
Yeah, I think that too, they're going to probably talk about it a lot today and tomorrow, see how Jameis is feeling with his foot. I know we saw him running around a lot, even saw him, sliding today. There was a comments about him going back to his old baseball days and having to practice that as well. And there was all positive signs, and the way we saw what we saw him doing and how he was moving around, there definitely looks to be no ill effects like from the knee, from the foot. And if that's the case, why not put him in for a series? And I know some folks are like, oh, A-Bear just wants to see Winston get hurt so Dalton can come in as a starter, and that's so furthest from the truth. It's not true. Please, he wants nothing but the best for Jameis Winston and this team. Bobby is obviously a huge fan of Andy Dalton, who thinks he can come in and provide that same level of quarterbacking that Winston can if he can't go on, kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't think Bobby's wishing evil on anybody. I do think that he's a big fan of Andy Dalton's. I don't think that can be argued. But no, I think Bobby just wants this team to win.
Right, exactly.
He cares about this team winning way more than anyone else I know. Like, he really genuinely cares.
Yeah, I think early on in camp, we did see Jameis kind of behind Dalton a bit. For a guy like Dalton to be just getting acclimated to this offense, he just looked really comfortable and confident. And I think Jameis was in that point where he was still kind of feeling his way back with the brace on and getting used to, running around with that. And there were some struggles at times, but he's definitely, I feel, come on a lot stronger these past few practices.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he was ever necessarily behind. I think he was just a guy who was, getting his feet under him. But I never saw it ever as, okay, Andy might be the starter. That was never the case. And no one on this team ever thought it was the case. So we can just dump that there. One thing